Have you ever looked at a tire and wondered why it is black? Rubber is not black. Natural rubber is the color of cream, somewhere between pale yellow and off-white. If you had never seen a tire before, and someone asked you to guess what color a rubber ring wrapped around a metal wheel would be, black would not be your first answer. And yet every tire on every car, truck, bicycle, and aircraft on Earth is the same deep, consistent black. Not dark gray, not brown, just black. The color is so universal it has stopped registering as a choice. It looks like a material property rather than a manufacturing decision. But it is a decision, and the story of how that decision was made involves a laboratory accident, a discovery that the industry sat on for years while workers absorbed the consequences, and a compound that eventually transformed the economics of the entire automobile age. For most of the 19th century, rubber tires were white. The earliest solid rubber tires fitted to bicycles and then automobiles were the natural color of vulcanized rubber, off-white and pale. They worked. They also wore out quickly, particularly as vehicle weights increased and road speeds climbed. Early automobile tires might last a few hundred miles before the rubber degraded and cracked. Zinc oxide was commonly used as an additive and gave tires a recognizable bright white finish. But here's the surprising truth. The compound that solved the durability problem was not designed, not refined, and not the result of targeted research. It was noticed by accident in a laboratory at a British rubber company in the early 1900s when a chemist testing carbon black as a cheap filler realized the tires it produced lasted not slightly longer, but vastly longer. 5 times longer. Perhaps more. Carbon black, a fine powder from the incomplete combustion of hydrocarbons, had transformed the rubber at a molecular level, reinforcing it against the heat, friction, and stress that destroyed untreated rubber within months. Think of it like adding steel fibers to concrete. Concrete alone bears compression well, but fails under tension and impact. Reinforced concrete handles both. Carbon black does something structurally similar inside rubber, creating a network of particles that absorbs and distributes the mechanical forces that would otherwise tear the material apart. The tires went black because carbon black is completely black, and no amount of it can be added without producing that color. So, if the discovery was so effective, what was the industry covering up? The answer, as is often the case in history, comes down to what the industry knew about carbon black, and when it knew it. Carbon black is not inert. It contains polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, a class of compounds that includes known carcinogens. Workers in carbon black plants who inhaled the particles throughout their careers began showing elevated cancer rates from mid-century onward. Studies identifying the risk appeared in occupational health literature from the 1950s and 60s. Industry-funded research consistently produced more favorable findings than independent work. Adequate respiratory protection in manufacturing facilities lagged decades behind what the evidence suggested was necessary. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classified carbon black as a possible human carcinogen. The legal proceedings and regulatory battles that followed lasted generations. So, the next time you walk past a parked car and glance at the tires, you are looking at an accidental discovery from a British laboratory that made the automobile age possible, and black the permanent color of every road on Earth. The chemistry was found by chance. The health consequences were found later. The industry found the second discovery considerably less interesting than the first.